Thank you for joining us today as we take a closer look at the struggles that unemployed workers have faced through the recent recession and today, specifically in getting access to their hard-earned unemployment insurance benefits through the Employment Development Department. We all struggled through this exceptional, difficult time, but it was our workers who felt the problems firsthand due to a shattered job market and an increasingly unemployment rate. According to the March 2011 report by the state auditor, the number of initial claims the department processed grew by 148% during the recession and paid an astonishing $43.1 billion of unemployment insurance benefits in 2010 and 2011. Today, we will hear from Patrick Henning Jr., the recently confirmed director of EDD, about his mission and goals for the department, as well of the future plans to ensure the department is equipped to handle a surge of unemployment insurance demands in a future recession. We also have the state auditor and the state legislative analyst's office to discuss the various challenges EDD has faced over the last decade and provide some policy recommendations. EDD will also have a chance to respond afterwards. While EDD has a variety of challenges ahead, such as uninsurance employment, the Unemployment Insurance Fund insolvency, today's hearing will focus in on customer service delivery and access to unemployment insurance benefits. With that, we will begin our presentation with Luke Reidenbach of the California Budget Project, who will provide a brief overview on the impacts of this Great Recession and how California is doing in its recovery. Thank you, Luke.
So thank you very much for having me. And yeah, we'll be providing a very brief overview sort of as context for this discussion and why and to highlight why the issues that you're going to be covering today still remain so important. And this will be just a brief overview of where California's labor market is right now and how workers are faring in the current economic recovery. Sort of as a brief introduction to job trends in the recent years. During the recession, California lost over 1.3 million jobs, and just last year, the state regained the number of jobs that it lost, which is a good milestone and indicator that we are moving in the right direction. But it took California far longer to regain the number of jobs lost in the recession than in other recent recessions. And this isn't so much about the pace of job growth, it's just about how deep the job losses were during the recession. And in fact, job growth in the current recovery is actually on pace with what it's been in the last two recoveries. The fact that it's moved so slowly is really an indication of just how difficult the job environment has been for the unemployed. And one metric that we use to show that is just the long-term unemployed, right? And during the height of the recession, the number of those who were out of work for 6 months or more reached over 1 million people. And as you can imagine, long-term unemployment would have devastating financial impacts on families. In the absence of available jobs, people had to wait many, many months, sometimes over a year, to find a job. That has since fallen by more than half. So as of the end of 2014, a little over 400,000 people were unemployed for at least 6 months. Still, that's a large number, and it's actually, there's more long-term unemployed now than there were at any point following the last economic downturn. So again, everything's moving in the right direction, but there are still a lot of people who are struggling. A lot of people are struggling to find work, and so I think sort of the hope right now is that things will continue to move in the right direction and further reduce not only the unemployment rate, but the number of long-term unemployed. And another issue that we have been looking at is sort of this, where the current economic recovery stands in sort of a longer sort of arc of recent economic history. And one of the major concerns that we have is the type of jobs that are available, the wages that they pay, and connecting people to quality work. which I know it's not so much what you're going to cover now, but this is context for just all of the issues that face workers, not just the unemployed, but when they do find work, what kind of jobs that they find. And one of the issues that we've really examined in our organization is this growing issue of wage stagnation and wage erosion. And one thing that we're not seeing in the current economic recovery is a substantial recovery in wages. Right? During the height of the recession, there was stiff competition for jobs. Workers couldn't get raises, and so as the cost of living went up, workers saw the value of their wages eroded. And wages at the end of 2013 for a low-wage worker were a little over 12% less than a similar worker in 1979. And what that actually means is if a low-wage worker was earning the same in 2013 as they were in 1979, they would have had $3,000 more a year in their pocket. And so this is sort of an ongoing issue. It's unclear that wages are recovering in a substantial way for low-wage workers. There is some early indication that those who would be eligible for a minimum wage increase are seeing their wages increase, so those in like the 10th percentile, the bottom of the wage distribution. Before, all the way up to median earners, they're not actually seeing substantial wage gains. And then sort of, another part of this is just the concentration of low-wage work. Right? We're seeing an uptick in the share of jobs concentrated in sort of lower wage sectors. And the share of workers who are low-wage workers in 1979 was 22.6% in 1979, and in 2013 it was 27.6%. So this is another issue that we find concerning about the health of the labor market for California's workers. Moving forward, the biggest issue now is to keep the momentum going. I think that everything is moving in generally the right direction. There's still many long-term unemployed workers. There's still many unemployed workers. California's unemployment rate still remains above the national average. And I think that connecting people to good work, bolstering the safety net, ensuring that unemployment benefits are available to those who are eligible, all these are sort of part of an agenda that helps workers get back on their feet. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate the comments. Really good. Now we would, you can stay here if you wish, but we're going to bring up Mr. Patrick Henning Jr., who was just recently appointed to head the EDD.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Chairman Mendoza and fellow committee members. Pleased to be here to provide the committee with some information about the Employment Development Department, our mission and goals for this coming year. I understand this hearing is focused on our employment insurance program, but I believe the committee may benefit from just a real brief overview of the department and its services. Very, very quickly, EDD is about 8,000 employees strong, over 200 offices up and down the state, close to $100 billion raced through the department in one way or another annually, providing vital services and programs to Californians. Probably the most recognizable division within our department is the unemployment insurance program, which has paid over $6.2 billion to over 3.5 million claims just last year. This critical program helps the unemployed pay for basic necessities and oftentimes is a bridge as they look for to gain full employment as they continue to move forward in their lives. Our state disability insurance program, another wage replacement program administered by our department, provides $5.5 billion last year to about 1 million claimants. California is one of the few states that has a paid family leave program. We've heard a lot about this recently because of President Obama's desire to spread this throughout our country. We are a role model for the rest of the nation to look at, and take a lot of pride in administering this program that provides vital services as women are looking to birth a child or a family is looking to take care of the elderly or sick. Oftentimes overlooked at my department is that I operate one of the largest tax collection agencies in our country, collecting over $6 billion in employment taxes. to our over $1.3 million employers, up and down the state. We also provide a tremendous amount of services to them to help them through our tax system. So we continue to keep our good employers operational and functioning in the state. Finally, a key partner, and oftentimes I look at it as the other side of the bridge at our department, which is we partner with America's Job Centers and have over 200 centers located throughout the state, helping employees or helping our workers with job assistance, whether that's resume writing, whether that's interview taking, and help them connect with the over 1 million different jobs that we have up and down the state that we continue to try to help those employees find work for. As the director, I recognize that our department is one of the few state agencies that has frequent interactions. I'm sure, Senator, that you had several interactions with your constituents as we went through our Great Recession, particularly, frankly, for our department, helping them through our system, which had its struggles as we had so many people filing for unemployment at one given time. The most common denominator for all of our programs is that we're trying to help California prosper. We have a committed workforce, and I cannot tell you over the past year how much it has heartened me to go out into the field, to stand shoulder to shoulder with these workers as they're trying to help Californians succeed, as they're trying to help them prepare to try to grow their family, or to take care of a sick loved one. Or if they've gone through a period of stress in their job and become recently unemployed. We provide tremendous services. But we need to continue to provide innovative services. We have to try to get ahead of the curve on this one. As you saw with what happened over the past, frankly, just prior to me getting appointed, there was a lot of calamity. We need to make sure that we have an unemployment system that is ready for the next downturn in the economy so that we can provide the services quickly and efficiently. You're going to hear later on today, I spoke a little bit to the committed workers that work at my department. You're going to hear from Sabrina Reed as well as some of the folks that work directly with our IT contracts, because it's one of the ways that we're going to prepare our state for the future, is to have a better and more robust computer system that's able to withstand the crush of millions of Californians trying to apply for unemployment benefits. And also look towards the future, be able to look at the way people want to file an employment system, whether that's through our computers or whether it's through our mobile devices that we're now becoming more and more dependent upon. Our number one goal since I was appointed, and frankly, since the governor ingrained it in me when he looked to me to take on this responsibility, was to make improvements for the customers that come to the department. We have to do better. And through a generous allocation granted by the governor, approved through the legislature, we've been able to meet those critical goals that we set forth when we asked for a little bit of help. Those have been answering 50,000 calls a week, processing 100% of new claims within 3 days, being able to answer online inquiries within 5 days of receipt, timely scheduling up to 95% of our determination appointments, making sure that we hit those goals. And we've been able to do that, I'm happy to report. Initially, we had some struggles with trying to onboard people. Frankly, we hired close to 400 new state employees to be able to, with those funds that you granted to us. And it's been tremendous to be able to see those people come through training and onto the phones and be able to help Californians. But that job doesn't stop. We need to continue to provide for those folks. And to that goal, we've started to invest in new technologies that will allow our savvy customers the option of self-service applications so that you can direct more of your constituents frankly, right to the internet, and they'll be able to get an eased system that they'll be able to access benefits. We're launching our new UI system later this year that will allow UI claimants to certify for benefits, reopen existing claims, update simple things like their address and phone numbers, whereas before you may have had to reach out and contact somebody or go through the computer system. Now you're able to do that right through your mobile device. We're also going to be able to give folks a view of their payment history on taxes, trying to push so that we can become a better, more ready, more Silicon Valley viewed department. We'll be launching this new service in a phased approach. We've taken lessons learned from what happened just prior to my appointment and are taking those lessons so we don't repeat those situations over again. And going to be learning throughout that process, allowing hundreds of claimants in and then thousands, and then increasing until we have everybody within a short amount of time, but giving us enough time so that if we find problems, if we find glitches, that we're able to address them quickly, and so that the majority of Californians won't be unnecessarily affected negatively. We're also in the process of updating our call center so we can have virtual hold systems and outbound notification. A lot of our brother and sister state departments have these capabilities. We want to be able to have it. Frankly, we have a tremendous amount of call volume that race through our department because of the services that we provide. And that's oftentimes a struggle for a lot of our even large state contracted entities. But we are working hard so that when somebody calls, they're able to reach a representative. We're also taking a look at different processes. We want to be able to provide somebody that comes into one of our offices, no matter what type of office it is, some guidance on how to get the services that they need. Somebody comes into a disability insurance office or come to one of our America's Job Centers, I want to be able to make sure that there are people there that are able to point them in the right direction, if not be able to help them know how to get services. We also have to continue to combat the underground economy. This has been something that has been a goal of mine since not only my appointment here, but frankly throughout my career, is try to get our employers to stay above board, to get our employers the services that they need so that they aren't tempted, frankly, to go underground, so that we're able to get to a more level playing field, so that we're able to, frankly, not unfairly advantage those businesses that make that unfortunate turn. But also to help protect our employees who are oftentimes victims of fraud. It would be remiss if I didn't mention the unemployment insurance funding structure. You alluded to it earlier. We have over $8 billion we owe to the federal government, and this is something that we need to be critical. I would tell you that while this is something I believe that we as a state need to grapple with, not just the governor, not just Democrats, not just my department, frankly, but we all need to come together, not just employees and not just businesses, to try to address. But we can't forget that even if we were to solve the state's solvency problem, we would not be solving for the state's chronic underfunding when it comes to the staff situation at my department at ED. It's why we've had to come and ask for tens of millions of dollars from the state's general fund to cover that gap so that we're able to reach those goals. Without it, frankly, we wouldn't be able to provide those services. Senators, I do want to thank you for taking the time to schedule this hearing and hear about our final programs. This department has gone through a lot. I feel very blessed in lots of different ways. The governor not only appointed me to a department, but also sent me over there with some of the resources to fix that. And I am greatly appreciative of your support in allowing us to do that. Hopefully, us reaching those goals shows you that we hold the trust that you've put into this department as up to the highest importance. Yeah, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that the committee members have. And I know that my staff, you'll hear from them later to talk more about in detail some of those exciting things that we have planned for the future to prepare ourselves better.
Thank you, Mr. Henning. Just quickly, do you think that the technology advances that you're doing now, the changes, would that help since I know you say you're chronically understaffed and you got a little bit more support, or 400 support folks that you had?
Senator, it'll help. You know, and we're going to do everything. We're taking a look at the processes that we do to get things done at our department. We're going through a process, they call it business process reengineering, but it's looking at the processes that have already been set up and trying to figure out if we can do them better. We're also, frankly, opening ourselves up a little bit more for your staff, for Californians, for, frankly, my staff to hear things. I'll give you one example of this. Just after I got appointed, I spent a lot of time with going out to the call centers, spending time with the workers that are on the front lines, talking to Californians and trying to provide these services, and letting them know that we're going to be listening. We want to know every idea we need to at least consider before we move forward. One of the workers at our department said, you know, we file these thousands of documents, millions of documents with the state, and oftentimes we got to put we have to put the address of the claimants in there. The vast majority are Californians from the United States. Can't that be a default? And it seems like a small thing. It seems like something that if you thought it maybe saves a couple seconds. But if you spread that over the millions of claims, the millions of documents that go through the department, those seconds equal minutes, those minutes equal hours, those hours equal time that could be better spent. And so we've made that improvement. And we've made several other improvements taken from the staff at our department, taken from, frankly, the outside constituents. You know, we used to call it an open door policy. I think that in government now we have to have an open email policy. And so I read all my emails. I'll tell you, I don't answer them all, but oftentimes I'm sure, like yourself, they don't necessarily want to hear from me as much as they just want their case settled, the problem solved. And so we're doing that at a greater clip than I think before. But it all goes to nipping around the edges, frankly, because we have such a funding deficit faced with the state.
Thank you, Mr. Henning. And I think we have a few more questions. Do you have a question?
A quick one. I apologize. I may have missed this. Part of the challenge of California has been our IT programs. Do you have, are you satisfied with, or do you have an IT program up and running that can assist you in handling these claims and all the paperwork? Is this something that has improved over the period of time, not just the fact that you were way down on staff and now we're seeing greater staff? Is the IT system that you are using the most effective, the most kind of current and efficient that's on the market today?
I wish I could say yes, but it's not. It's the best that we could do with the, frankly. Let me start this over a bit. But Senator Beth Jackson, the problems with procurement, I think that frankly, Secretary Badger has taken on a task and has made some pretty big improvements in a very short period of time. But I will tell you that the system has been frustrating. As somebody who sort of got in and was at the back, or actually installed and had to try to fix a computer system that was damaged before those improvements came into practice. We had to come back to the legislature and ask for more funds because, frankly, the computer system that we have for unemployment insurance was designed some odd 15 years ago, and didn't reach its full delivery until just last year. We took a look at what was desired to have built for the outward-facing part of it. We had to come back after I took a look at what was being built for us, and had to come back and ask for more funds, frankly, because it wasn't a computer system that I was happy with, nor do I believe that you would have been satisfied with And you know, I don't know if we ever shoot for cutting edge in state government. What I believe that we set forth, and I believe that what we will have close to the middle of this year that is ready for Californians, that I want to show you and your staff, if you would like, is a system that will serve Californians well for the next few years. It will be a system that I believe has its advantages, that, like I said, for the first time, we're offering a mobile service. Technology moves at a rate that oftentimes state government has struggles to keep up with. And I think that we've done a good job with what we're ready to, we will be ready to release in the coming months, of getting ourselves to a level that Californians will be satisfied. Is it the best possible? I'd be hard pressed to say that, Senator.
I guess my concern is twofold. One is we have a history in the state of IT procurement that is absolutely embarrassing. I don't know how else to say it. From your department to the court system, for some reason we are fish in a barrel to these big companies that sell us these systems that we can never make work. Now, whether it's our fault because we don't procure properly or whether it's their fault because we are fish in a barrel, I don't know. But that is a source of great consternation to me, as we literally waste millions and millions of taxpayer dollars. That's one problem. The second problem deals with each agency. So here we are, EDD, and I have a staff member here who can attest to the fact that for a lengthy period of time, we were getting almost nothing in the district but complaints about how people were not able to access your department. You then came in, you're doing what you can. My question is that enough so that people are now, that you're going to be able to be responsive to the people who need your assistance and who are told that that's where they need to go for assistance, and whether or not this will maximize your efficiency, minimize the amount of personnel that we need to do the job, because our computer systems, for which we pay dearly, are actually functioning as they're supposed to. So that's the first question. It's more an editorial comment. But the second is a question really designed to see whether or not, or whether the state is maximizing, the taxpayers are maximizing their dollars to your department and getting in return for the people who need your services the kind of response and assistance that they're entitled to get.
I think that's a tough question, Senator, and it's one that frankly keeps me up a lot of nights, because coming to you, coming to the governor, and having to ask for, frankly, millions of dollars for something that was supposed to be the best system we could possibly get at that time, knowing the pressures that you all are under to make difficult funding decisions is not an easy one. I believe that the system that we have, and during the time that I've been director, that we have been good stewards of those precious funds. It has been something that not only myself, but you'll actually meet some of those people that live that pressure day in and day out, trying to make sure that we have a system in place that can provide those services to Californians in a fair and timely manner. But Senator, you know, as much as I would love to say it's the best system, and what I will tell you is that we are doing the best that we can with what we have. And frankly, I think that what we're going to be rolling out will be a system that will get us to much better service. I don't know if it'll solve all the problems that Californians face when trying to fill out their unemployment, but it will do, it's significantly better. As you mentioned prior, the system needed a boost of support. We do need to address the federal underfunding gap. The president of State of State started talking about ways he saw to start to try to address this. But frankly, I don't feel like we can wait for the federal government to act. You and your colleagues have taken brave action to dedicate some precious funds to my department. I believe that we'll have a system in place that will be able to provide the best that we can services to those folks with the dollars that we have. But we're going to continue to hit this nail on the head in as many different ways as we possibly can, whether that's through better process, whether that's through an improved computer system, whether that's through better management. We're going to continue to hit it until we get it right, until we provide the best possible services to California.